This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right, you listen to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Got a big show tonight, and I want to thank Roger Thomas for filling in for me last week, and Jeremy Smithson with our county commissioners, Carl Boyd and Anthony Johnson. How'd the show go? Everything good?
I think it went pretty well, and like I said, we're still here.
Well, how many? What's about 140 years of history right there?
Oh yeah.
Well, including you, would be 200-something years, wouldn't it?
Oh.
210, is that right?
I'll get it back.
210 years.
I always get it back. Believe me.
Well, we like history, so it all fits in. Yeah. But I know I love the story that you shared about Anthony. Is it okay to talk about on the radio?
Sure.
Anthony Johnson's dad. Mm-hmm. He's a coach.
Yeah.
I thought that was really touching. You want to tell the story?
Oh well, yeah. Anthony Johnson. You know, he's a county commissioner. He's not ours, but I think District 11. Anyway, he coached down at the Todd Lane Little League, and he coached Anthony. And Anthony always rode the bench. He wouldn't play his son. And this is a true story.
So his dad wouldn't play his own son?
Yeah, he just wanted to play the other guys. Yeah. Mine would probably done it too, as my coach. And anyway, his dad moved up, and Anthony never started. He put him in right field or on the bench. Anyway, the new guy took over, and Anthony threw one into him. He said, man, you got an arm. So they started working with the pitcher. He ended up being a pitcher, and he's an all-star pitcher.
So, yeah. No, I was also talking about the African-American.
From bench to all-stars.
Yeah. But the African-American young man that kept
also there was a
watching.
guy named Kenny Richardson. His dad came by. It's a black family. Come by and watching the ball games, and no blacks were playing at Smyrna. And he asked Mr. Johnson, Julian Johnson, if if his son could play. And it was actually Kenny Richardson was his name. And I remember him, you know. I mean, I know them all. Everybody at Smyrna. And he was the first black African, kid to play baseball Little League at Smyrna. That would be Kenny Richardson. That was his dad. Is the first one to do that.
But it was Anthony's father who.
Mm-hmm. Anthony's father
started.
was the one that got him started. Yeah. Did you ever know Anthony's father?
No, I may have seen him when I was a kid or something.
I think I was a paper boy. No.
Yeah, you were a paper boy, weren't you? They cut that out for my time. Yeah. But I got a nice text from my former assistant. A lot of folks knew my assistant, Marvin Williamson. This young man, I talk about how a guy works in mysterious ways, and he'll use things that we see in the world as so improbable that they have to be miracles. So this young African-American was at the Capitol. This has been like 7 years ago, and they had literally had fake news on me. I was talking about fake news earlier, and there really is fake news. Yeah. I'm not kidding you. And
this lady here's a PR lady. She might know what you're talking about.
Well, it's propaganda, and they'll use it to discredit people, to cause chaos and cause division. Well, this young African American was coming in, and he was playing chess with my assistant at the time, or my intern at the time, and nice young man. And so I got to know him a little bit. He's from Memphis. I started to tell him some history, And a lot of this, some of our history is very politically incorrect, but it's history, and it should be told truthfully. And anyways, he was kind of looking, he really didn't know what he wanted to do. So he had texted me and after a session, and he says, I want to, do you have any advice for my career? And I said, well, I guess you're going to move back to Memphis. He said, no, I don't want to go to Memphis. I want to stay here in Middle Tennessee. I said, well, just come in and hang out with me. I really didn't know what to do for the young guy. And I said, man, I got my Rotary Club. I got the radio show with Brian Barrett that day, and I had Jenny Williams coming up and Marty Luffman, and I was also presenting a surprise proclamation to my Kurdish friends that own Auto World of Smyrna.
Yeah.
I bought 30 cars from guys. Well, if you count I bought a Harley. It's funny, they called me, hey man, we got this bike up here. You want to come look at it? And none of them knew how to ride a motorcycle. So I was like, I'm going to get a buy on this thing. And they're great. They're great guys. But anyways, he come up on the station. He was standing about right in here, and I see him open up a newspaper, and it was TSU newspaper. TSU's a black college.
Right.
And on the front page, it said, why I voted for Donald Trump. And it was him. It was his face on the front cover. And I looked at him like, you voted for Donald Trump? He said, yeah. So how much persecution you face. He said, no, I just explained my position. Everybody was good with it, So he's a man of independence. He's a man of conviction.
Bold.
So he knocked on about 4,000 doors. Everybody loved him in the community. And I often say they liked him better than me. And in a way, I'm kind of being honest. Everybody just loved him, young man. And he's anyways, he kind of went through a little rough period, really got falsely accused. And I probably shouldn't talk about it on the radio, but I am, because here's where God is so good when you see trials and tribulations. And he had called me, this was about 3 years ago, or maybe 2. He called me crying. I'm talking, you'd have thought his mom passed away. And I don't think he's real close with his father and that sort of thing, but he's close to his mom, his grandfather. And, man, I was like, oh, my gosh, can't believe, this is going on. And, sometimes we think, man, God can't have a plan. There's no way that this is part of a grander plan. But you think of Joseph being sold out by his brothers, and that to me is one of the coolest stories there. But I happened to be talking to Alice Rowley, and Alice was running for mayor, And one thing Marvin knows, he knows people, and he knows how to knock on doors. And I told Alice what was going on. She said, Mike, I need somebody. So she hired him. And I remember him saying, like, man, she ain't got a chance. And I'm like, there's like 14 people running. I'm like, yeah, but I know Alice. Alice is, I call her the equalizer. She was right-hand man for Senator Alexander, Bob Corker, Randy Byrd, UT president. And he helped her a lot. And she made the second place. But from 14 to second was pretty good for a Republican. Right. But anyways, God had a bigger plan. He got hired with Office of the Courts. This is so cool, which is called the 3-judge panel, Office of the Courts. AOC is what it's called. Anyways, Nashville School of Law did a nice highlight story on him, Marvin Williamson, and I've been sharing on Facebook a lot. I think Jenny Williams, Roger, I think you shared it, and Marty loved me. So shout out to Marvin. And I guess the moral of the story is sometimes the trials and tribulations, one door gets shut, God's got a bigger door to be opened. Right. And his story is so cool, just like John DeBerry. These stories, by the way, Eric, no one's going to tell these stories because they don't fit the narrative. MTSU's not going to talk about this story. Yeah. I did send it to my professor, though. Hopefully he'll talk about it,
If we only knew somebody with a radio show.
Oh, well, exactly, But what I was saying is that the story ties into mentorship. And, you have to find somebody, I'm sure, Piper, your dad's kind of a mentor, but you also have other mentors. But we have to find somebody to connect with. And this guy right here, I'm going to make a prediction. I may not be alive to see it, but I think he's going to be a judge one day.
Oh, that's great.
And he's going to remember what happened to him. He's going to remember how he was falsely accused, in my opinion, I think he was set up. Yeah. There's a deep state out there. And if folks don't believe it, look up what happened to John DeBerry, who marched with Dr. King. Mm-hmm. Now he's the first African-American to be on the first floor of the state capitol with an office. That's never told. Phil Williams is never going to tell that story. Will you, Phil, if you're listening? Phil ain't going to tell the story. I'm going to tell that story. But anyways, hopefully, folks realize the power of a mentor and the power that God is good, even in our darkest times. But Roger, why don't you introduce Eric, because it was kind of your idea to kind of have him up here.
Oh yeah. We were at the like I said, at Depot. We have the little meeting every other week. It's like Depot group, I guess you would call it.
Kind of arts council, business council.
Right. And Eric was talking. This is the first time I'd seen Eric at one of the meetings. He's probably been some others, but that's the first time I'd seen him. And he started talking about this rally on Route 66. Man, I was just so like, man, Mike's got to have you on the radio.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's the first thing I did. I called him because he wasn't there that day.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be talking about that. And he's brought his daughter, and I believe she is is Piper Ritchie, and you are PR.
Yes, PR and media production, and I go to Belmont University in Nashville.
And that's right up Mike's alley right there.
Yeah.
Are you a junior, senior?
No, I'm a freshman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just got in there, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, not trying to cut you off, or what are you doing?
I'm done. I'm
using CapCut, Adobe Premiere. What are you using?
Yeah, we're using a little bit of everything right now. Yeah. We're just like trying to see like what everyone prefers. I use Canva the most this semester, but
for video.
Yeah, videos and presentations and stuff like that.
Is Canva using some AI in there?
You can, yeah,
Okay.
but
Well, your dad showed me some stuff of the day that it was. Did you teach your dad this stuff? Because it was blowing my mind.
yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy how much
Man.
AI can do now. But yeah, it definitely has features where you can do that.
Does it scare you?
In a way, yeah. I just had to write a whole essay on how bad like AI is going to get as time goes
Really?
on. But yeah, no, it does get scary because it can do anything for you now.
Your
Beautifully
dad-
wonderful.
Well, your
Yeah.
dad was telling me the other day. Who was the guy? What's that TV show 90210?
Oh yeah, the host of our of the road rally is Ian Ziering from the TV show 90210.
Yeah, and
Sharknado and all that.
And you were saying how he said he did some narration, but he said, "Man, it was so good with what y'all done. Just go with that."
Yeah, my partner Gary Bridges in the production company that we own in Nashville. He's really come a long way over the last year at leveraging and really stretching AI in the production side. And we had actually mocked up a sizzle reel with Ian Ziering in it. Based on just some photographs that we animated and some other stuff. And we sampled his voice and recorded an interview from him, and then we applied that voice to the script and all that. Well, we got around and we said, man, that's great. It's a great first pass. It's a draft. Let's send it to Ian and get him to do the actual voiceover. So Ian calls us back 2 days later and goes, I can't do it as well as the AI that you sent to me. Just run with what you got.
Really?
And so it's pretty spooky.
I mean, but it even took the all the images and like created a video.
That's right. Yeah, visual and audio. What we're able to do now, I mean, you can exactly mirror anybody that you want. Which is pretty spooky and wonderful at the same time. So we were talking to Ian a couple weeks ago when we were in Albuquerque, and we were just talking about how it's now going to become an issue with celebrities that they may not even have to be on set or make a physical presence during the making of movies. They just have to license their likeness and their voice to the role, and then just approve the final film when it's done. And that's how it's a whole different ballgame.
You think? Well, I was at a conference, MTSU, a few years ago, and I remember it was an AI conference, and the guy was saying, AI is going to take jobs. It's the people that know AI that's going to help. That's going to end up taking some of those jobs.
Yeah.
It is pretty frightening. But then again, it's I guess there's so many opportunities out there for folks like your daughter.
Yeah, and even with AI, there's always going to be a subjective component to AI, because AI is a tool. Right, and it still takes a human involvement to tell the tool what to do and how to do it, and then you get to judge whether the end result of that is something that you like or want to use as a final piece. So,
it was pretty wild. I was in a crisis communications class a couple of years ago, and they were talking about deep fakes. But from a political perspective, man, that's what's scary, because where is the truth?
Right.
yeah.
I'm taking that class next semester,
Right.
actually.
I mean, I'm sure it's not the same instructor. Mine was, she was a lady from China, and sharp lady.
Yeah, I have a guy professor. I can't remember his name, but we're not done with this semester yet, but I know I'm taking that class next semester. I'd have to go see.
Why'd you want to enter that field?
It just really interested me. Like, I've always been so into like technology and social media and that type of field. It took me a while to like kind of think of like really what I would want to do, but there's so much you can do with media production, and there's so many jobs that are going to be taken over by so much, like even AI is going to take over so many jobs. But I mean, media and communications and like connections is something that AI can never replace. So
Yeah, it's like Nathan Hudson on he's on that board, Historical Zoning Commission with me, and it's the first thing he said. It's going to take his job.
Yeah.
But he's wanted. But like me, I mean,
Well, I
not
think
gonna take my
there's,
job.
but I think there was also opportunity out there. But I know in class I was talking to Dan Eschenfelder, and Dan's a great guy. I think Jeremy may have had Dan, him and his wife Christine, Dr. Christine Eschenfelder. She's real sweet. But I was asking students, they weren't even using the AI calculator. That's how I see it.
Mostly legal stuff, and but it's only as good as the people that are using it. It's just like anything else, like a car or a gun. You can use it for what it was meant to be used for good, or it can be used to deep fake and do things you shouldn't be doing. So it's going to be a moral dilemma. Another one, how to use the internet, from 2000 forward was one, but AI is just the next tool in that roster.
Well, it was so cool with, that, and you were talk about we did a little Facebook Live where we talked about the Bible study. Let's get into that real quick.
Yeah. So, so I have kind of a strange biblical background. I grew up on a ranch, operating ranch in Montana, and I didn't really even know a Christian until I went off to college. And so the religion.
You didn't become a Christian too.
That's right. I didn't become a Christian until I was 30
usually
years
the opposite,
old.
though? You're a Christian, you go to college, and you get away from the faith.
Well, some do. That's how
I hear that.
I got introduced to Christianity in college, but there was, the religion I grew up in was farming and ranching. That's 7 days a week, and so my faith really took hold when I moved to the South here, and my wife was a big part of that. And I came to know Christ when I was 30 years old, and was baptized in First Baptist Church, which is now Life Point here in Smyrna. And my wife and I went on to teach Bible school and a whole bunch of stuff there over the years, and heavily involved. So, but as I started some of these new ventures a couple years ago in the automotive side, I've just met a ton of people nationwide, and even some international connections. People in that car community are really, really good people. They're like ranchers, they're just really honest, good people. And a lot of them don't know Christ and have not been exposed to church. And so I started thinking about 6 months ago, I said, you know what? I've got a lot of people that I've been sharing the gospel with in this shop. I said, I had to start a Bible study for men to focus on just unreached men that'll meet at my car shop amidst all the classic custom restorations and the custom cars we're building and all that stuff. What a cool way to spend a Sunday morning, sitting in a room with a bunch of guys and a bunch of classic cars, just talking about things that are meaningful to guys like me that didn't get to know Christ till they're older, into their late, middle age and stuff. And so I can relate to that. I didn't grow up in church, so I don't come to profess to memorize the whole Bible, or I'm learning just like how'd that work out?
Oh yeah, man, he was such a great guy. He bought 11 cars for me. One thing you like about Dan, I remember I had this BMW 700 series, and man, I could find some deals. I mean, even Dave called me one time. He's like, Mike, I'm always hearing the man of car deals. I was good at cars, and Cash for Clunkers kind of threw a monkey wrench in all that. So it's a little, to me, it's a little bit more difficult today. But Dan, I remember he got the door wouldn't open, the back rear door. I'm like, hey, it's a nice car, but I can't get the left rear door open. And he ended up fixing it. I'm like, how did you get that door open? I couldn't figure it. But this guy, he had a master's degree, I think in psychology, but he could change his own oil, change the starter, fix that door. And, sadly, he passed away with pancreatic cancer last year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just a great guy. And I had tried to call him. I knew he'd been battling. I knew he diagnosed cancer. I just assumed he had, 6 months or a year. And I called his daughter, and Ashley, and she called him back, and it was his same number. And she said, Mike, you didn't know? I said, no. She said, he passed away yesterday. But that goes back, Piper, to people that believe in you, that encourage you, because the world's full of Debbie Downers, man.
Right.
I mean, we know one. I use it's WWJD. It ain't Jesus we're talking about. There's this guy that's so negative.
I read some stuff today. He was over there.
It's just, this guy's an expert. I mean, he'll tell you how to restore a car. He'll tell you your yard's too high, you need to get it cut. He'll complain about Bean Brothers Barbecue, but this dude's an expert. Don't even live here, okay? So you got those people in the world who've got mental health problems. They got mental health problems. Because going back to what your dad's talking about, I'm serious. It's a mental health problem. When you see somebody that's a keyboard warrior that's just this right here all day long, negative, Debbie Downer, there's a void in that person's life.
Yeah.
They're looking for something. They're lonely. They don't have no friends.
They're probably
for
more
real.
likely single. Ain't got a
And I'm not saying
to help them, debate something.
I know it sounds mean to say, but there's a void.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to have something there. Maybe, Roger, you can invite him to that Bible study with Eric's. What? That's not a good witness. No, he's like, I ain't inviting him. That's me.
Get with Jeremy Bird.
Now, wait a second.
Hey,
Jeremy.
get with Jeremy Bird afterwards and ask him what he thinks. I'll give you the name after the show.
Anyways,
You could ask him and see what Jeremy thinks.
If Bart's listening, Bart would be disappointed. Sorry, Bart. Anyways, we should reach out. Some people are just hard to love.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you love on people that are hard to love?
I just love them hard.
Man,
back,
I mean, it's hard.
That's all you can do, right? And right up to the point that you can't stand doing it anymore.
No, man, it's hard. Piper, how do you handle people that that are just so toxic?
It's a weird. They're struggling with something, because happy people don't try to bring other people down. So you just have to keep that in mind, especially like now, like, everybody's in college too, so it's
Yeah.
not like, I mean, people need to grow up at some point, and some
Yeah.
people just never grow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like the easiest way to do it is, I mean, there's not really much you can say to them. You just
Yeah.
like, I mean, you're just kind, and that's all you can really do. And
I think that's why they
yeah.
say that's why they came up with "bless your heart."
Yeah,
Sure.
seriously.
Did y'all say that in Montana?
No,
What y'all tell people?
No, we took them out behind the barn and
bet
straightened
y'all
them out.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but but there really is a need for what you want to do. I think it's cool. Do you know Louis Cucci, Pam
I
Cucci's
don't, no.
husband? He's got he's got a lot of the old Dodge Chargers. He's got the place across the Omni Hood. He owns 2 of them
Oh,
buildings.
yeah.
And his wife was my mother's best friend. In fact, I told her about this the other day, and Lewis wrote a couple of books. And in fact, I thought about putting an event together at Gateway Classic Cars and have him speak.
Yeah.
But maybe we could put it together at your place and
Absolutely.
have him
yeah.
speak.
We'll start getting in some of the celebrity cars that we have for the upcoming rally. We'll start kind of filtering into the shop here over the next month or two.
When you say celebrity cars, what's the definition of a celebrity car?
Yeah, so there's really 2 ways we look at it. So the this rally has kind of come together over the last year, and it really started off as just a kind of a fun idea for us to get a bunch of our celebrity friends together from the music and film and television industries that were really big car guys. And next year's the 100-year anniversary of Route 66, and so I said, man, for a cool
okay.
show, why don't we get together a bunch of these celebrity buddies of ours, and we'll go run the entire 2,000 miles from Chicago to Santa Monica, and we'll raise some money
So I
for
could do
some,
like a whole convoy type
yeah,
thing.
that's right, and raise some money for some nonprofits along the way and all that. Well, over the last 6 months, it's really taken on a life of its own now. So we have 10 celebrity-driven cars that will be driven by very, very well-known celebrity icons
Mike,
in the
one of
industry.
them. It's Mike. Oh.
Well, I don't have a classic right now.
Is this thing working?
Yeah. But I was telling you, I think I told you the other day, I got to have lunch with or dinner with Willis Johnson, who owns Alan Jackson's house, and got the 2 big barns out there full of cars. And
somebody I need to get in touch with. I think he'd be interested in doing this. Same
great
with
guy.
us, so.
I mean, he really is a down-to-earth guy. And I was sitting with him, and I gave my book, Learn to Barter, and he looked at me and goes, "You wrote this?" I'm like, "Yes, sir." So I bought your book. I said, "You gonna read mine?" He said, I'm reading your book right now." So he was kind of looking through it, but he was in Vietnam, and just a great guy. And I said, "You a believer?" Oh, he'd make a great speaker, by the way. You know? And I said, "You a believer?" I mean, a Christian. He goes, looked at me like, "Yeah." And I said, "Come on, can I show you something? I'm gonna show you 2 miracles." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm talking, you name a classic car, he's got it in there. Beautiful stuff, and millions of dollars worth of stuff. And that estate's just beautiful. So we walked out, and I had my wife's Mercedes there. I may have told you this story already. And it's an SL 550, twin turbo AMG package. You don't have the AMG engine, but it's got the twin turbo. And ordered out of Florida. She took care of my mom for literally 6 years. 3 meals a day, helped my mom, and I wanted to just do something to reward her. And I ordered a car out of Florida from Copart, out of Punta Ganta,
that's
Florida.
the guy's business. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and total surprise. Wife knew nothing about this, and my wife had to go to the doctor that day. That night, my wife gets home. And I talk about weird coincidences, miracles. My wife says, she says, "Boy, I seen the prettiest Mercedes on a car hauler this morning." Like, yeah, and I was like, "This is crazy," because my Kurdish buddy Z had called me. He goes, "Hey man, your car's it's on its way," and he says, "I'm getting it off the rack." He said, "The tire's a little low and the battery's low," and I told my Kurdish buddies, remember they're Muslim, and I was telling them, I said, "Did y'all tip my wife off or tell her something?" They're like, "No." So well, how would she know? They're like, "Man, that's crazy. How did she spy?" That's what I call confirmation.
Right.
God will give you those confirmations. So I was telling him this is the same bumper. It's the same bumper on the car. They totaled the car and they shouldn't have totaled it. But someone stole the taillights. The taillights were over $1,000 each.
Yeah.
And I guess the owner probably just put his foot down like, "No, I want a new car." It's the same exact bumper. Then I showed him the Jeep license plate. The Jeep license plate, well, remember he was in Vietnam. Those funds from that Jeep license plate benefit a soldier child in our community, Smyrna, which benefits my friend who was killed in Iraq, Freddie Hahn's family, because he goes to those camps and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was cool, just talking with this guy about 2 miracles. But we could try to land him over there to speak.
Well, and there's a
sometime.
lot of connecting points. A Soldier's Child is one of the foundations we're raising money for
really?
as part of the rally.
Well, right down
You're
the
on the
street
board,
from us.
aren't you on the board?
Yeah, I am. I sit on the
Yeah.
board of the
Oh.
Soldier's Child Foundation. I actually, Daryl Mackin, shout out to him, and that organization is an amazing
Yeah.
organization. It was started, and about 15 years ago, and then they wanted to start an outdoor mentorship program to that about a year after they started, and so I got involved really early on in the outdoor mentorship side of what they do, and I just we just hosted the youth opening deer season weekend with them, and
What county is that?
well,
Maybe
it's all over. We are based out of a campground area out in West Tennessee, and
Yeah.
then we spread out from there and hunt all these farms and ranches, including mine in War Trace, and we had about 35, 40 kids out there this year.
Have you met Spencer Hahn? Spencer, I sold his dad a truck. I trained his dad at work. I mean, I used to work at Nissan, trained him before I went to day shift, and he come to my car business, and he says, and I hadn't. I mean, there's a little bit more to the background, which I'm going to share on the radio, but he comes to my car business. He says, Mike, I've been deployed to Iraq, and my mother just happened to be there. My mom just happened to be there, and my mom said, son, can I pray with you? And we prayed with him, and he never came home. He got killed 6 weeks later. But the son inherited the truck, and he just rebuilt the engine in it. Sent me some pictures of it. Rebuilt the top end. It's a GMC maroon extended cab. But he don't remember his dad. He remembers being at a base and seeing like tanks and stuff. But he don't remember his dad. But we got the road named after him in front of Steak and Shake.
Oh,
from
yeah,
Nissan.
yeah.
But that's where the car club hangs out at, Steak and Shake.
Yep.
You ever go out there with Roger and them?
I've been through there a couple times. Yeah.
So you know Mike and some of them guys.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And we've had 4 car shows at our place over the last year and a half, and it's a perfect place for that big open field next to the shop. And so
Can you talk about your vision for that?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I bought that facility 3 years ago. When I
Now, was that in bankruptcy court?
it had some pretty funky stuff going
knew
on
there
with
was
it.
some-
Yeah.
yeah.
And we stayed away from a lot of the. I didn't want to know what I didn't want to know, and I just told them get it all cleaned up and get it
out
to
there,
closing.
yeah.
And so I'm glad we did, because
Yeah.
the boys that ran that before had some stuff go on with them that was pretty questionable. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, so we took it over and we started converting it and moving more and more classic car restoration and custom car stuff in there. And I bought the entire facility. It's almost 5 acres there in downtown Smyrna.
Yeah.
And the big open field next to it, I wanted to have as a grass area for car shows and everything else. And so we've held some really great successful car shows there over the last year and a half. And then I was out there, August 1st was the last car show we had. And I was sitting there with my general manager about 10 o'clock that night. We was watching the last couple of cars leave out of there.
Yeah.
I was looking out over the field, and I was like, I want to build a drive-in movie theater here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right in downtown Smyrna.
That'd be cool.
And he started laughing. I started laughing. I said, hey, that's not really all that funny. I really want to build a drive-in movie theater here. And
Where would you put the screen?
down at the far end of the field,
Towards
down
the
by the
train
water
tracks?
by the water remediation pond down there.
Okay.
And
So
that's,
none of that's floodway right there, floodplain.
no,
Okay.
no, and so I wanted to keep it like a 75 to 85 car deal where be open in the summers from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and
You
have
tune in
different
with the
theme-
radio?
Yeah, and do
Cool.
theme nights there.
So you wouldn't have the old speakers that go in your window.
No.
Right.
Did you
Or
ever-
getting in the trunk, getting to the drive-in, huh?
So you ever go to any drive-throughs back in the day?
Yeah. I grew up. There were some drive-in theaters right in Billings, Montana, where close to where I
Are
grew
they
up.
still around?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think the closest one here is out in Watertown or someplace. But the
Yep.
more I've talked to people about this, they're like, man, I would go to that all the
That'd be
time.
cool.
Yeah. And
How
just-
much would you have to charge
I don't know.
to break even?
I don't know. We'd figure that out.
$37 for popcorn only.
That's right. Yeah, it was cool first, Mike.
Yeah.
So we're going to go with cool for now, and then we'll figure out how to monetize it later.
Who was it talking about the other day? Was it you, Roger, talking about everybody hiding in the trunk and under blankets and going through by
Well, I'm a
yourself?
lot older than y'all. That's what you
know.
would do.
Hey, we
And,
have a 58 Cadillac in the shop right now. You could fit 27 people in the trunk of that vehicle.
Yeah, it would be funny.
Yeah, you would look next to the car beside us. Would a couple of cars pull in?
Yeah.
Me and my cousin, I remember he had no Cyclone. I don't know if you remember the Cyclone. Behind the
yeah.
seat, there was an opening to the trunk.
Yeah.
Anyway, you look over and you'd see my cousin, and a few minutes later, it'd be a carload. I had to get them off the trunk.
Did they ever get on to people or just let them go?
They started eventually just charging by the car,
By the
because
whole car,
they knew that people were doing it.
No,
so,
I had older sisters, and they'd make me. We were in a VW, make me sit, get underneath there, and we were little kids. But it had a lot of fun, a lot of memories.
But it'd be fun, we're really, the Depot District is really trying to make a comeback through all the meetings and the businesses in that area of Smyrna. It's a perfect opportunity to bring back a lot of really nostalgic feel to a city with a lot of nostalgia associated with it. And so, I thought I already designed the big light bulb, drive-in theater sign, the 1940s or 50s sign, and so we're gonna run it out. It's a zoning issue and a legitimacy issue now.
You know people, don't you?
Yeah, I know. I'm not touting anything right now, other than it's cool. I'd like to do it because it's cool.
But another thing, I saw the old Mervyn Weekly building over there.
Oh yeah.
And I saw the drawings or the things over there when we had the Ray Hargett over.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that is really cool there.
And it has an outdoor performance venue,
Yes,
and so
exactly.
Ron Alley's been, he's been kind of the undesignated mayor of historic Depot District, for a lot of years, and he's really dedicated a lot of time and effort to make sure that didn't go the side of the, small businesses that didn't really fit there, and stuff. Right. So we're really hoping, and I partnered up with him on the 101 building, and with the design and what we want to do there, and the performance venue and stuff for children, and after school education programs and stuff there for music, and it's a great thing that's getting a lot of support now. So I'm super excited about that.
Well, I do have a thing in case that does, when you get it going. I've got I see if I can find it. My mom bought me a shirt there at Memorable Weekly in the late 60s. Yeah.
Still got it?
Yeah, no, I still wear it.
Yeah.
It was, you remember Mike might remember. He's pretty cool. He may
The
know
silk
some
shirts?
stuff. No, that's your disco days. That
Was
was
it
your
like that
disco
big
days.
shirt from Dumb and Dumber, like the tuxedo shirt?
Yeah. No,
with
it
all
was
the fluff on
it was a dark shirt, but the cuffs were white, and the collar was white. Man, I thought I was going to junior high over at Thurman Francis.
Yeah.
Walked to the school class, thought I was the coolest guy in the world. Another guy in class had the same shirt on.
Yeah. No, man. Now that would be a group to land, Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, gosh.
Could you get the van?
The frilly shirt and all that.
I tell you, I was telling you,
Who owns the van now?
I was telling you, celebrity cars, right? So we define those two ways with the rally. We have 10 cars that are going to be driven by celebrities, and they will swap out passengers all 10 legs of the race. So we'll have
swap out passengers.
Yeah, so there'll be a different celebrity rider in every leg of the race. So we'll have about 100 other celebrities that are surprise passengers each leg of the rally. And but then we have another class.
Do you enter? I mean, you're just paying.
No, we're just
money to get entered.
A lot of them are donating their time to raise money for these foundations and stuff. So
that gentleman that you and I talked about, Mr. John Bridges, you need to meet him. He was the one that when I wrote the letter to Elon Musk about a tunnel to Murfreesboro, he loved the idea, but he had already hand carved a little Cybertruck. This guy's a former engineer with Aladdin, designed a lot of the mugs like this, and he was the vice president of the company years ago. But he invited me to come out, and he's probably got 8 garages full of classic cars. He's got an old military Jeep that he restored, the World War II Jeep.
That's the kind of guy we need to get involved.
Siren. And I told him, I said, what are you going to do with all this stuff? He's like, I don't know, Mike, but he's hand carved like I guess, what do you call it, a prototype.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about this Cybertruck was he was saying if the Boring Company and Elon's going to do this Tesla, you're only going to get what 4 people, 3 passengers in Tesla.
Yeah.
He designed this thing that's Cybertruck, like an SUV with headlights, and it's got a ramp in the back for a wheelchair ramp, and you get more passengers. And I was like, this is really just surreal to see this. But this guy, you need to meet him.
Yeah, I would love to. In fact, he is the kind of guy that. So we have extended worldwide an invitation to 250 other classic cars that are 1976 and older to make that trip with us starting April 30th of next year.
So it doesn't have to be You said you had more celebrities than you do cars, or am I
Yeah, so
backwards?
so we have 10 cars that will represent the foundations that we're raising money for, and
Okay.
each one of those will have a celebrity driver. And then we'll swap out passengers in those cars every leg. But every leg will be an opportunity to raise money, and we're working with a number of foundations, like I'd mentioned before. Some of the bigger, really well-known foundations, and some regional, like a Soldier's Child and Carpe Artista, and some of those. And our intent, we're setting out to raise $1 million a piece for each one of these 10 foundations.
You were talking. Can you talk about the band, the music group that? Is it okay to talk about the guy that was going to be in there with you?
Oh yeah. So we're also done a lot of stuff with James Burton over the years. Our production company has done 2 international live events with him, and James Burton, for those of you who don't know, was Elvis Presley's lead guitar player and the leader of the TCB band up until Elvis's death.
Oh wow!
He's 86 now.
Yeah.
We did a show 2 years ago with him in London. It's the biggest rock and roll guitar players from all over the world flew in for that event.
No, I was talking about the other guy, the 80s, 90s.
Man, we got a lot of those guys.
Is that okay?
What's that?
Hall guy. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, no, we have. A lot of these guys have been working with us on
Trying to whisper. I didn't know if it's what's to talk about.
We got to start talking in code.
Okay.
Cow is brown at midnight.
Okay.
No, but we've had a lot of.
I was a big fan of that.
Yeah.
that group.
So John Oates, half
Hall
of
and Oates.
Hall and Oates.
I heard one of their songs yesterday.
Yeah, I mean he's a wonderful, wonderful guy, and he's done.
What about his counterpart?
Yeah, Daryl. I haven't really spent a lot of time with him, but I have spent a lot of time with John. And
anyways.
John did both of these James Burton events.
But John Hall's a great guy.
John Oates.
Oh, John Oates.
John Oates.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
guy.
all time. Can you
I
tell?
love that. I love that band.
Yeah.
I love that
I
band.
mean, and he is, and John's doing
You
John's
ain't
doing
getting
some
tickets to
really
their concerts.
some really cool things on his own right now.
Yeah.
Some small, more intimate
Now, is he
tours and
around
stuff.
here?
Yeah, he's in Nashville a lot.
Well, how do you
and-
reach these
We've just really linked them with them through the productions that we've been doing, and the James Burton stuff has brought a lot of great people. My partner Gary Bridges has been 45 years in the music and entertainment business. He played after Elvis died. He played with the TCB band representing
Really?
Elvis as Elvis in
Yeah.
Vegas for years and years and years,
Yeah.
and that's where he met James.
He
And
was one of them impersonators.
he was the
The impersonator.
He was the. If you look, he
Wow.
is the most. Gary is really he's an actor because he did. I think impersonator is kind of the wrong term, but
Okay.
he represented and was Elvis with the TCB band in Vegas for years after Elvis's death, and with the actual players. And he is an amazing musician and artist and singer and player and all that. So he spent his whole career in that space, and he is very, very close and very good friends with a lot of really well-known folks. He was also Michael Jackson's bodyguard for a period of time, and was with a lot of really, really
I got
well-known people over
to
the
meet
years.
with Priscilla Presley last night, Elvis's wife.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool talking about the music therapy and Amazing Grace, and she was like, man, that was Elvis's favorite hymn. She might be somebody you could probably
We've
get
already
with.
we've been in touch with the Elvis folks.
She
and
she
Priscilla
seems
specifically.
real
Yeah.
sweet though.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the lawmakers. I think Joe Towns and a couple others down in Memphis hung out with her, and in Nashville and down there. I think they're trying to save one of the old like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, some building down there. But speaking of celebrities, we've got Austin Maxwell on the line. Austin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, Mike. Just driving back. I was actually streaming the show, starting around Cookville. Enjoyed listening to it tonight. Just a kind of a really good reminder that there's a lot of good in the world and life is good. And just be kind to others. So
We need to
really
get you to
enjoyed listening
get
to
you
it.
to drive that military Jeep of Mr. John Bridges.
No, I'm just in a regular old car. I'd love to have an old military Jeep. You can find me one. I'd love
No,
to restore it and everything.
he told me he drove to the day. It's still got the little siren thing horn in it, and he was the one that just happened to call me. I went out there, hung out with him about 2 months ago, and I seen he's got like a man cave at his house, like garage, and I seen this B-17, and my dad flew on the B-17s, and I appreciate Austin and Claire. You gave me that book back in the last year. I appreciate that about the 8th Air Force. But
Yep.
I told him, I said, man, B-17 right there. He goes, yeah, that was so-and-so that started the 101st Airborne Restaurant. And he said he flew a B-17 in World War II, and he had one. And I was like, really? He told him, he says, man, I'd like to fly on a B-17 sometime. He says he had a B-17 in Nashville. He goes, we'll fly out to Dallas with me tomorrow. And he said that man told Johnny, he says, but you got to remember, sometimes the engines will stall on us like that. Like, who wants to fly on a B-17? The engine's going to stall.
That's a whole different human back then.
I know. It was like, all right.
Yeah.
But he did it, and he said, I had to figure out a way to get back. But Mr. John Bridge is such a great guy. So how you been doing, Austin? Everything good?
I'm good. I'm just ready. Like everybody, it's a short week. You know, you got Thanksgiving, you get a couple days there. And, you know, I'm just kind of ready to chill out starting on Wednesday. So I'm doing good, though.
Well, I appreciate your lovely wife coming over to the Trey Hargett event we did at the cemetery community, the old school over there, the old African-American school. You know, we presented that $250,000 grant. Very, very, very touching. Vincent, the pastor over there, Vincent Windrow, they just turned the electricity on 2 weeks ago. I said, he said, man, when's the last time electricity on? He said, 30 years ago. It's an old black school. Wow. The original desks are still there. It was during segregation. Wow. And they're turning into a museum. And really, really cool stuff when you see things start, when the lights come on, you start seeing some things happening. There, Mike, yes. Still has a stage.
Yeah, that was the ones that when I was a kid, you know, if you got under there during nuclear attack, you'd be safe, you know.
Yeah, these are. Yeah, it really is neat, though, what they're going to do over there. So hats off to him. But go by there sometime, Austin. Even just it's back up behind Stones River Methodist Church, to the left of the gravel pit. If folks,
okay,
we're right after the battlefield. If you're going towards Smyrna on the left, you don't really see it back up in the woods. But see, a lot of these folks are passing away. Bo Washington, my understanding, deeded that over to him, and Dr. George Smith has passed. Frank Caperton's passed, and sadly, a lot of this history is passing with them. You know,
a lot of history goes with them when they pass. But
yes,
you know, but you can learn a lot from history too if you stay close to it. But,
yes.
But I just wanted to say, hey, I really enjoyed listening to the show tonight. Got a good group of folks there, and thanks for all the good they're trying to do out in the community. And there's a lot of liberal, no good sharks. And we have one and only conservative, Mike Sparks.
Yeah. Well, join us at that Bible study Eric gets going. I'll try to post it on Facebook.
Oh, that'd be great. Look forward to that. Yeah, I'm excited about that for sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, sir. We'll see you.
See you.
All right, take care.
Bye.
But the Austin's our former chairman, GOP, and he was shot in Iraq.
Was he?
Yeah. I think he was shot twice.
Wow.
Yeah. And lost a son a few years back.
Huh.
You know, a lot of folks, you know, sometimes we can look at people's life and think, man, that guy's got the perfect life. And you don't realize some of the issues that people are battling, you know. But all
you got to do is spend some time with any organization like a Soldier's Child or Camp Patriot or any of these national organizations like that. I started working with some of those foundations 20 years ago, and it rewired me as a human being, and I got my kids involved. It was really important to get my kids involved in a lot of that stuff when growing up. So Piper and
she's the youngest.
She is the second youngest.
The second,
yeah. So we have six, and
you got 6 kids,
6 children. Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
wow.
And so she's number 5, and then Jackson, our 16-year-old, is number 6.
You ever studied the lineage of the oldest versus the youngest, and the Marcia syndrome and all that? Jan
I'm
Brady.
a middle child, and my wife's a middle child, so we know all about that.
So y'all know, the Marcia. You know, I mean, it's fascinating to me. It's fascinating.
Yeah. But I tell you, it's. I don't think there's enough opportunities to give kids these days a dose of what the world's really like. You know, we are blessed in so many ways, and we forget how 99% of the rest of the world lives, and people that have gone through these horrible traumatic experiences. And you know, it's no wonder why the suicide rate is so high, and why the divorce rate is so high, and especially with severely wounded, military personnel and the families that who have military person who has passed, their families left behind, are just as crushed and broken as the soldier themselves. And so we a good part of this rally, we have 3. It's the 25th anniversary of 9/11 next year, and so we have 3 foundations that are associated with the rally that are represented in the rally that we're raising money for. The New York Fire Department Foundation. We're working with Tunnel to Towers right now, and the Soldier's Child Foundation.
Have you reached out to Darryl Worley?
I know Daryl really well.
Do
He
you?
and I've hunted together for years, and
I
uh,
bet he'd get involved.
he's a great guy too.
Yeah.
And we've had some adventures, Daryl and I, over the years for
he
sure.
he seems real down
He's-
to earth. Now, hadn't he done a remake of the song "Have You Forgotten"?
Well,
Didn't he remake it somehow?
I'm not sure if he's re-recorded or not, but I know obviously the original version of that he did is an iconic.
Somebody, I left
song
him a
out there.
message about 3 weeks ago. Somebody gave me this number and I called him. I don't. Was it you who gave me the number? Somebody gave me
no,
the
it
number.
wasn't me. I did not give you Daryl Worley's number.
Okay, anyways, well, in all fairness,
Daryl, I did not give Mike Sparks your
I
number.
have not heard back from the guy. But anyways, anyhow, I hadn't heard from him. But he seems like just a
He's
genuine
a
guy.
wonderful guy, wonderful
You
guy.
know.
And we've been on a lot of hunting trips together, and we've done a lot of veteran support stuff together over the years. And
We
it's been great.
talk about just last night. I was studying mental health of all things, and the Anxious Generation book, and to me, it ought to be a must read for. In fact, I thought about buying one for every elected official, but I thought, man, that's going to set me back. I mean, it'd be some money, and it really would. But it talks about childhood trauma and the mental health, and it talks about the social media. And man, we're really facing a dilemma when it comes to, especially among females.
Yeah.
Do y'all talk about that much?
We do, yeah. There's like the suicide rates since social media became a thing have like skyrocketed, and
Yep,
mental
it
health disorders, like anything,
How
depression.
do you chill? What do you do to chill?
Social media. I
Oh
mean,
my
I feel
gosh,
like
really?
yeah, like I feel like that's just like the prime thing all people my age are on nowadays.
So you play
it-
music or do you do anything?
Yeah,
You do?
no.
You
like,
sing or play instruments?
somewhat, yeah. I can play piano
She's a
somewhat.
lot more.
but
She's a lot more musical than she lets on.
Yeah.
Really? Jeremy
Yeah.
here is a talent. He's very talented. He plays drums and
Yeah, I'm actually going to
Singer.
be putting on a little solo performance at church, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday.
you ever heard somebody sing and you're like, that's the same guy singing? You know, like it's like the voice don't fit him.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean that in a nice way.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, have you ever seen that happen where you're like, how
Oh,
is that
gosh,
voice
yeah.
coming out of that person?
Oh yeah, and just the opposite.
Yeah.
Too. It's wild both directions.
Yeah.
Sometimes somebody with a great voice, you see them live, they're horrible, and then the other guys, you see them, they don't look like singers at all. They got the greatest voices you've
Yeah.
ever heard.
Yeah,
He
Charlie,
really-
Yeah.
Charlie Puth's speaking voice is really, really, really deep as this. And then when he sings, he's singing very, very falsetto.
Yeah.
And so,
He's really talented.
Yeah,
But
I think
one thing,
I think one of the things too, we're super proud of our kids, and we've been a homeschool family, kind of a hybrid family. you know.
so you have no social skills?
Yeah.
I'm teasing you. I always say that.
So a lot of
I'm
our kids
teasing.
spent half their time in homeschool and then finished out in
Yeah.
high school and stuff like that. And we just kind of let their education kind of evolve
Yeah.
with them. But we're a very, very close family, and we.
So your wife teaches
Yeah.
him?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My wife has
Yeah.
has been the staple of that for
Yeah.
20 years in our household, but it allows us to be as flexible as we want to be, and but it also allows it's built some amazing. Our family's got great relationships, and our kids are wonderful kids, and we're proud of all of them, and we're gonna grow them to the point that they got a big callus against
Yeah.
what they're seeing out there, and we don't shield them, as well.
Yeah.
Even when we homeschool, we were a part of scholastic programs, tutorial programs, and stuff where they would go to class 2 or 3 days a week and play sports and
Well,
all
one
that
thing
stuff
about
with them.
Anxious
So-
Generation, Jonathan Haidt, that wrote this book, my understanding, he started studying another aspect of social science, and all of a sudden he run across all this data that's so alarming of that y'all's generation. But it seems like you've got to kind of find something to get plugged into. But one of the areas that I see is the lack of fathers in our culture.
Yep.
It really is an epidemic. And one thing I brought up in finance the other day, and it just seems like nobody wants to talk about lack of fathers. And that's why I just showed you that about the mentorship. I run a mentorship bill this year, but I just wish we could do more to get guys like Austin Maxwell, for example, just called in, or you or Roger or Jeremy plugged into some of these at-risk schools like Smyrna West alternative schools.
I think the fatherless thing is one of the biggest epidemics that we face worldwide right now, and it's
We have the highest in our country and the highest prison population.
And when you look at like a Soldier's Child Foundation, those kids are fatherless because their parents went off to war and served and protected our rights as human beings in this world, and those kids are still fatherless, and they still deal with the same issues that every other fatherless kid deals with out there, and it's thank God for foundations like a Soldier's Child and other organizations like that, because they are purposefully going out and seeking out those kids at 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and stepping in and becoming a stand-in, for a father mentor, in their lives, and it's been fantastic.
Representative Todd Warner out of Chapel Hill.
I know of him. Yes.
Todd, about 4 years ago, Todd had asked me. He says, "Hey, I'm gonna be over in your area. Do you want to go to this Soldier's Child event?" I was like, "Okay, let me check my calendar. I think I can go." And then I said, "Well, hey, do you mind if Spencer Hahn goes?" Spencer is the son of Freddie that was killed. And then I remembered, I said, "Well, let me see if he's got room for the widow, and room for the brother, and room for her. She's since remarried." And tell me how cool this is. So I go to this event with Todd at Embassy Suites. Well, Todd's sitting by himself, but he had every seat was available for Freddie's family and myself. I said, Todd, I said, what was you going to do? Just sit here? You bought a table. You just going to sit by yourself? I said, don't you see how God orchestrated this? Pulled us all together here? I don't really think he's seen it.
No.
It's just so obvious. But Todd will give his shirt off his back, But we're about out of time. Eric, I'm going to give you the last word to talk about your upcoming event.
Yeah, so, it's probably one of the proudest things that I've done. And I was a business developer for years, and into private equity, and built and grew and sold a number of tech companies and stuff over the years, and got into media about 15 years ago on a television show I launched called The Sovereign Sportsman, and it really kind of changed my life. And so when these opportunities came up a couple of years ago to partner up with Gary Bridges at Seven Bridges Media Group. And I told him, I said, I only want to do content. I only want to develop shows and content that have a give back component to it.
Yeah.
I want them to go out and raise a ton of money and awareness and expose great stories. And I did that on The Sovereign Sportsman for 4 years as well. And the sole intent was to tell those stories. I didn't care if we were on a hunting trip or mountain climbing Mount Rainier or in Thailand, catfish fishing. It was all about how do we tell this guy's story in the best possible way. And so now this road rally is all that.
And they can reach you at Crusader Auto Works in Smyrna.
They can, and they can hit the website AmericanRoadRally.com.
Yes.
Is the best place to go for information on the rally itself. It's going to be epic. It's a 12-part series on the CW network, an hour a week during prime time. We have one of the top slots on the entire network. CW has been unbelievable to work with, and this show completely fits their format that they've restructured their network around going into this next year. It's going to be a great show. We're going to raise a ton of money for great causes, and we're going to have a lot of fun with a lot of really recognizable celebrities.
All right. Well, thank you, Piper Ritchie, Eric Ritchie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Connor, Jeremy Smitson, and Roger, folks. We'll see you next week.